Hello and welcome to Java with Jim. I'm Jim Reese, Director of Business Development at Offit Kurman, joined here today with Mike DiGiacomo, Executive Director at the Governor's Workforce Development Board. Mike, how are you today?
Doing awesome. Thank you. A whole lot drier today than it was yesterday.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for joining me today. I really have never had a person like you on the show, so we're really excited to have you. And certainly workforce development and staffing and employment is a hot topic today. So let's jump in here. Tell us about the Governor's Workforce Development Board. Who are you guys? What do you do? And how do you work with your different partners?
Jim, thanks for the opportunity, right? So the board is a member, 59 members on the board, and they're made up of the governor's cabinet secretaries that have to do with workforce. We have folks from community colleges, universities, unions, nonprofits, and most importantly, employers. And those employers are from all around the state. They have to represent what Maryland looks like. So not only geographically, but across industry sectors. So we have folks on that board from everywhere from construction to manufacturing to IT to hospitality. And their real role is to formulate policies and procedures on how to do the work, how to make the workforce a coordinated effort throughout the state. They're really ambassadors and connectors for workforce. The board also has responsibility for 13 local workforce boards across the state. So pretty much in each county, there is a workforce board responsible for coordinating efforts between the employer and applicants in each of the different counties. And our real job is to help coordinate those efforts. If you take a look, as much as we say there's 59 partners, members on the board, we have hundreds of partners that they are talking to on a regular basis to get the message out about workforce development in the state.
That's terrific. Yeah, you guys do great work. And as I said, workforce development is certainly a hot topic today. When it comes to the Workforce Development Board, Mike, what are you most proud of, would you say?
It's a pretty interesting conversation. I mean, there's lots of things that we've done, but I think if you look back 7.5 years when I came on board, what we've really done is change the conversation. The conversation 7.5 years ago around workforce development was unemployed people, find them a job. You look at the conversation today, 7.5 years later, we're talking about career pathways. We're talking about community colleges. We're talking about the opportunity for career technical education. We're talking about apprenticeships. You'll see that we just put out a press release. We had 12,000 apprenticeships this year, which is record breaking. And most more in Maryland than most of the across the country. So you look at the holistic approach that we're taking. When you start taking a look and you go to a local workforce board and you talk workforce development, not only you're talking about career pathways and learning new skills, but you're talking about transportation. You're talking about housing. You're talking about mental well-being. So what I most proud of is that we have been able to get the message out to our local workforce board, to our education partners, to our employers, to start taking a more holistic approach to workforce development in the state.
Yeah, terrific. And to your point, things certainly have changed. I mean, back in the day, probably, when you and I were getting ready to go to college, or when we had kids who were getting ready to go to college, that 5-year college thing, that was a thing. Today, not so sure, because there are so many opportunities and different options for people that don't necessarily include 4 years at a college. So yeah, I know that's when you say the conversation is changing, I know that's part of it.
And you take a look at today's world. I mean, you could be a high school graduate and graduate high school with an AA degree, because you're taking dual enrollment. You're working in community colleges courses while you're in high school. So you could actually leave high school with a job and an AA degree, where you've never been able to do that before,
and start making money instead of creating debt.
And it doesn't mean that you can't continue your way to a higher education to go get a BA degree or go get additional skills. But it's a way to start your career pathway with money in your pocket moving forward.
Yeah. And the employers need them too. So Mike, talk about recession, inflation, et cetera, et cetera. What do the next 6 months look like for you and the Governor's Workforce Development Board? What are you guys working on? What do you see?
Yeah, so I'm sure everybody has seen the Kurman Commission, the blueprint from Maryland's education. I am also the executive director for the newly formed CTE committee, which is a unit within the Governor's Workforce Development Board. So we are going to be putting together over the next 6 months a plan to reframe what career technical education looks like in all of Maryland public schools. So we have a plan that's due to legislation in March. So we are going to be working with our partners, our education partners, our local workforce development boards, our employers, our students, our teachers, our parents, to put together a plan of what does career technical education look like for the 21st century moving forward. So it's a big lift, but we've got a lot of partners with our members to put together a plan that's forward-looking and not looking back. And is what do we really want to be? 10-year. The plan it's a 10-year plan ultimately. So we've got to put together what does that look like over the next 10 years on how we get there.
Yeah. And things might change in those 10 years. So you got to be flexible. So Mike, what do most people watching this not know about Mike DiGiacomo?
I don't know. So I would say, when people say like, where did you go to school? Right. I graduated from Delaney, went to Towson, went to Johns Hopkins. What people don't know is I was born in a place called Saddlebrook, New Jersey. And I started out as a New York Met and New York Jet fan till my father got transferred down here. And when I was 13 years old, and now I am a loyal Ravens fan and coming to be a loyal Orioles fan with all the good stuff that they're doing.
Good for you. I did not know that about you. So see, I learned something new today. Mike, thanks for spending time with us today. The work you guys do with the Governor's Workforce Development Board is fantastic. Keep up the great work. And anybody watching this that wants to get in touch with you, they can do so via, the link on LinkedIn, or contact me, or whatever. Check your LinkedIn and contact you. But the work you guys are doing is great. Keep it up. And I know I'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Jim.
You got it, Mike. Take care.